seminar is Psychology 101. Or lecture, sorry. Lecture 7. How to survive as a mathematician at work. And I really do mean survive. You know, to get through the process and not come out in jail or unemployed or starving. I mean, there's all sorts of things that could really mess you up here. So when I say survive, I'm not kidding. There's a minefield out there that perhaps no one's ever told you about. And it doesn't involve things like that. Right? It's different. But first I'll mention one of the very early things I tell students, and that's how actually this whole idea of doing analytics math came about. I was speaking to students after one of my lectures the day before the careers fair. I said, well, you know, the careers fair is going to go on today, and people will be there wanting to hire you, take on your services. As mathematicians, we have to realize that we possess very particular, unique, and powerful skills, and these can be used for good, also be used for harm. And we have to be aware of the people and the organizations we are providing our labor and our skills to, so that we use those. And sometimes it's obvious that you're going to do something that's probably good. You go and work for the Red Cross, you're probably doing something good. And sometimes it's obvious that you're doing something bad. If you're going to work for an arms dealer, then apart from keeping the guy in the Red Cross in business, you're probably doing something pretty bad. So there's sort of the two extremes, and it's obvious. You know, it's written on the outside of the pack. That's what I'm going to do. But then there's all the stuff in the middle. It's not so obvious. I'm going to work for a company that makes, Wi-Fi routers. It's an okay thing to do. It sounds kind of fun, and I'll get paid some money, and I can't say anything else. Just outside of throwing routers at people's faces. I mean, okay, you can make something bad out of anything, but you reasonably assume, okay, this is probably going to be an alright thing. Your mission is probably not, it might not be to save the world, but your mission is to, go and do some cool math, not screw anyone up in the process, make a couple of bucks. Fair enough. That's awesome. That's perfectly valid and legitimate way to live your life. Just don't get a gun dealer. Okay. But maybe you go into a company like that, and then at some point, or any organization, at some point things change a bit. And this sort of neutral, lovely company that you walk into actually starts doing some dodgy stuff. Things you don't really agree with, or you object to. You think, well, I don't like this. But hey, I've been doing some maths, so I'm going to sort of flag it, and I'm going to stand my ground and say no. Here's where it gets hard. Okay, saying no, that's the easy bit. Because then, your employer, who is probably quite clever and has experience working with employees and mathematicians in particular, will start to make life a bit more difficult for you. They might say things like, well, if you don't do this, I'm gonna reduce your pay, I'm gonna fire you completely. So yeah, money down problem. And you think, oh, well, that's not good. I have a mortgage, and I have a partner and 2.3 kids, and this is a problem, and so I need my money. So this is all of a sudden my objection is, or an employer might go money up and say, oh, well, you don't want to do it? Well, here's an extra £10,000 bonus. And you can take said partner and 2.3 kids on a lovely holiday to the Bahamas. Visit me, because all of came from get your letter reference. And they think, oh, well, that's also an incentive. And, maybe you try and hold back against that, but £10,000, that's £10,000. It's not easy to just sort of shake that off. Maybe you still think, no, I'm going to stand my ground, God damn it, I'm not going to do this. And then the employer sort of goes, right, now you pull the big guns and say, if you don't do it, someone else will. And now, you're fucked. Because your whole sort of idea, your whole world of moral objection just came crumbling down. If I don't do it, someone else will. Holy shit. Damn it. They got me. So your employer has got you over a barrel. They offered you less money, that didn't work. They offered you more money, that didn't work. Now they're going to say you do it, someone else will. Because they know how to twist and manipulate you. That's what they do, that's what management does. Control and direct employees. That's what they're trained to do. We're not trained to do that. We're trained to do this. We're not trained to tell people if they don't do it, someone else will. So what happens when you face in this position? People try to study this actual phenomenon of being in a position where someone's trying to give you orders. And they have other techniques as well. They say it's your job. You can't not do your job. It's your job. I mean, you have to do your job, right? Well, no. You answer to yourself before you answer to your employer. You answer to society, to the laws of the land. You answer to the UN Charter of Human Rights before you answer to the Wi-Fi router company that's making it. It's like the guys in Sainsbury's. They put on this high-vis vest. They stand in the street when the Sainsbury's truck is coming in. And they'll stand there in high-vis vest going, sorry, sir, you can't come through. Because the truck's there. Like, who are you? Like, what? We said you can't come through. Like, you're a Sainsbury's employee in a high-vis vest. You are not a member of the constabulary. I'm sorry, but I don't answer to you. People will try and portray authority and throw it on you. Even someone like a high-vis vest. It's literally the 16-year-old shelf stacker has a high-vis vest on, all of a sudden he's king of the world. Like, piss off. Out of my way. Of course, then I was king of that truck. Hey, that's my choice, not his. So, employers will go through and try and get you to do what they want you to do. People have studied this. Real psychologists have studied this phenomenon. Because after World War II, people were thinking, well, you know, all those guards at the concentration camps, they were the inherently evil people. All of them. And actually a psychologist by the name of Stanley Milgram in the 60s said, all of them? Really? Randomly selected people from a giant country were all completely inherently evil. I don't buy it. Maybe some of them are. All of them? Nah, that can't be right. Who's heard of the Milgram test? So who hasn't, just out of interest? Only one. Shall I explain it, or I'll give a very brief overview. Basic idea is you get a few volunteers, and you get someone in a lab coat. And the volunteer comes in, and you say, right, you're going to do an experiment. It's about people learning lessons, and so there's somebody behind this wall, and they're rigged up to an electric probe device. And you show them, here they are, they're all rigged up, everything. Hello. And your job is to ask them questions, and if they get them wrong, you have to shock them. And then if they get another one wrong, you shock them with a higher voltage, and so on. And this is all about people learning lessons and how they behave and their accuracy when threat of punishment. Of course, that's not what the test was at all. It was to see whether the person pushing the button would conform. So the person in the lab coat is standing with the clipboard saying, okay, please ask the first question. What's 2 plus 2? Answer's 5. Sorry, that's wrong. Ow! And the person on the other side of the wall would say, ow. The person on the other side, this is all set up. No, there's no voltage whatsoever. And so you keep doing this, and the voltage goes up, and the person is there with the lab coat and the clipboard, saying, please ask the next question, please ask the next question. And sometimes some people would say, I'm a bit uncomfortable with this. Once the sort of the owl button sort of screams of pain. And the lab coat person had a script. It was like, the test must proceed, please proceed with the test cannot be stopped. These were the 3 things they would say. If you got to the end of the 3rd one and you were still protesting, they would stop the test. Oddly enough, some people, when this was being run, were saying, volunteers were saying, well, it's their fault for getting the question wrong. If it serves them right. And they, oh, geez, okay, you're one of the evil ones. Okay, let's see where that's come from. But most are not like that. You keep pushing the button, and the screams get louder and louder. Until at some point the screams stop. Push the button, nothing happens. And just before that, the screams are extremely loud. The person's saying, get me out of here, I want to get out of here. You can watch this video online. How many volunteers do you think got to the very end and pushed the button to say, push the button and the person died in the background? What percentage would you guess? 80% is a guess? Another guess? Another guess? Guess? A number of it? Anyone else? So it was about 61. 61% of people, randomly chosen people, got to the point where they inadvertently killed the person behind the screen. Now it went down as the instructions were more detached. So they had someone instructing by phone. That went down. They had written instructions on a board in front of you. You must complete the test of that, and the percentage went down. Fine, good. Yes? Keep going until, so it was, they didn't know that it was going to kill them. They just knew that some people kept going even after the screams had stopped. Several points. Oh my God. But actually no, not oh my God. This is not surprising human behaviour. It's what we do. And when you got someone leaning over you in either a lab coat or a Sainsbury's high-vis vest, you think, oh, well, this person has some sort of authority, I should do what they say. To participate at all. I don't know those stats. I don't think it's terribly high, but I don't know off the top of my head. Trying to think. When you keep running the test, you've got different sort of percentages. The inside and outside US, so they did in the US and outside the US, those numbers kind of matched up. I think it was 61% in the US and 66% out of the US. I mean, this wasn't done over millions of people, right? So yeah, there'll be a little statistical fluctuation. I don't think so. I can't say for sure, but I don't think so. I think it was just, participate in this psychology test. Well, yeah, it was, but it wasn't the psychology test that they thought. So you think, how can this happen? Well, this is human nature. If I don't do it, someone will do it worse. That sort of idea. How do you avoid this entirely? You collectivize. You talk to your colleagues beforehand and you all agree, hey, there's stuff we don't like to do. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. These sorts of things, we're going to band together. Because how many companies can afford to lose their half a dozen mathematicians or a dozen mathematicians? You're hard to come by. There aren't that many of you bouncing around. We graduate 400 mathematicians a year from Cambridge. Another 400 from Oxford, probably another 300 from Warwick. We're talking, across the top level universities in the country, you're getting maybe 1,500, 2,000 at most. And then, okay, there's a few more in other universities. They won't have as solid a mathematical background. So now, even if, this company says, right, we'll try and get more mathematicians, they've gone from getting mathematicians of a certain caliber to mathematicians of a perhaps slightly lower caliber. So now they're hurting themselves. And all of a sudden, it becomes harder to get the job done in the way that they want it done. Your objection means something. But these situations can be put in front of you. They throw money at you, money up, money down, same thing, change the amount of money you have, and they put you in a situation where you feel under pressure, under stress. You can get around that by talking to colleagues beforehand. So that when the boss says, oh, what about doing this? You say, we don't do that. Not a chance. And if they say, oh, if you do someone else will, you can actually say, no, mate. Bring it on. And within 5 minutes, the boss realizes, oh, I've just fired all the mathematicians. Shit, I needed them. They have a lot. When you say plenty, even if they have a few, how many do they have working in that project at that time? What's the cost to bring someone up to speed? If you bring someone in from another department and say, right, get to work, and they're like, what's B? What's H? And you're working against the clock here for all these processes. But even at Google, they had their big engineer walkout. Because the engineers said, no, you're making AI contracts with the Pentagon. We don't like that. We're leaving en masse. Now, those engineers, I don't know what the mathematicians noticed, but the engineers are walking out. If the engineers can do it, why can't the mathematicians do it? But these techniques will be used against you. If you don't do it, someone else will. Here's some money. I'll take money away from you or offer money to you. Or else I'll be clever and say, well, if you don't do it, someone else will have a bigger role and cause more harm. All these techniques, employers know. If I know this, I do algebra and logic, right? And I have a rough idea of this. What do you think employers know? Who probably hire psychologists to do this? If I were Google, I'd have an army of psychologists behind me. Army of lawyers as well. Army of psychologists, just to keep the mathematicians under control. So lawyers point the guns outwards and psychologists point the guns inwards.